Good morning, everyone. I like to take an opportunity once a year to check in with you all and find out from the community how we are doing communicating to you. So I'm going to spend a minute. Good, we're doing well. All right, one vote of confidence. Going to spend a minute talking about the information we send out to you, what's available on demand to you, and then I have a few questions to ask you at the end. So for organizations who have a contract with ARIN, you're doing business with us, I have a couple slides that are a list of the infrequent communications we send out to you. For instance, many of you receive an annual email about validating your points of contact. For organizations who are members, you receive quite a few emails during the election period to notify you the call for nominations, to notify you when elections open, to ask you to please update your voting contacts, etc. Twice a year, every member organization receives an invitation to the Public Policy and Members Meeting, something we're required to do by the Virginia Non-Stock Corporation Act. And then throughout the year, we send targeted emails when we're bringing an outreach event to your area. We will send emails to direct allocation, direct assignment organizations in the area alerting you to these events because many of you are not subscribed to the ARIN Announce mailing list, and that or the website is where you would otherwise find out about these events. And then annually, those of you with a contract receive invoices and sometimes reminders. And then all of our mailing lists you're subscribed to, Mailman at the beginning of the year will send you a reminder. So in addition to that type of correspondence, we have quite a few mailing lists. I'm not going to go through them here, but they're listed. All of our mailing lists except ARIN Discuss are open to anyone in the community. So at your interest, you subscribe to these lists. And then you hear from us in other ways. A lot of you all have corresponded with us through ARIN Online, our customer portal. You're opening tickets, you're requesting resources, you have general questions about ARIN. We have an Ask ARIN message center in there, and you receive notices on your dashboard within ARIN Online. And then we have a registration and billing services help desk. A lot of you interact with staff, ask questions, email, or on the phone to both of these groups. And then if you're looking for information about ARIN, we have lots of places for you to come. Obviously, www.arin.net is our main website. Corporate information, details about meetings, about our services, our technical services. And then our Team ARIN website is focused more on outreach. We stood it up years ago when we started our IPv6 campaign. It's also the home to our blog, so hopefully lots of you tune in there. And then we have educational information on our YouTube channel, how-to videos, things about the policy development process about ARIN. And we stood up an IPv6 wiki years ago, and many of you interact with us there. Social media, if you follow us on Twitter, LinkedIn, on Facebook, you know we're very active. And these are just some recent stats about our followers and how much we do put out over these channels. So for instance, 640 tweets over the last 6 months. We take our outreach events around the service region, Canada, US, throughout the Caribbean. Many of you have participated or attended a one-day ARIN on the Road event. We also have expanded our outreach in the Caribbean, and you'll hear more from Bevel about that. But that's another way that you interact or you hear from ARIN. And then we continue to look for speaking opportunities, and we still do some exhibiting about IPv6 primarily, POC validation. These are a list of some of the places we've been recently or are going to soon after. And if if there are places, groups that you all participate in, meetings you go to regionally that you think it would be good to have an ARIN presence, I would like to know about that. Send a note to me or info@arin.net. That would be great. But back to the question of how are we doing? So I have a few questions here, and I would welcome your input. We have a few minutes, maybe if you want to come to the mic now, or you can reach out to me or any of the CMSD team that's here, or send an email to members. So we are obviously reaching those of you in the room, and probably most of you who are registered and participating remotely, but we'd like to know who we are not reaching that you feel we should be reaching. This goes to Sean's question. We want to make sure everyone knows about the open policy development process. We want as many people who may be touched by it to be able to engage in it. And also, of all the information we send you or have available on the website or various mediums, what are we not providing you that you would like to have or would like to know? And then what's the best way to connect with you? Are you finding information useful that we post on the website, on ARIN Announce? Are there other platforms we haven't touched that you think would be helpful in receiving information from ARIN? So I open the floor, if that's all right, John, if anybody has any input now.
Andrew?
Andrew Dole, CrowdStrike. Last night we were talking about the ARIN on the Road events, a couple of us around the table. And I think a number of us kind of thought perhaps that maybe that program has maybe run its course and needs some retooling in terms of where it goes, maybe the type of content that's shared. So I just wanted to publicly, throw that out here, and I don't really know what the answer is at this point, other than to say perhaps it needs some retooling and refocusing.
Could you explain when you say it needs some refocus or it run its course? We're having great reviews back. There are people who have gotten involved with ARIN entirely because of ARIN on the Road, refreshed, updated their contact information, and are now involved. So I'm trying to figure out what, it's not that old a program and you want to kill it off, and I'm trying to figure out what do you see that's amiss about it?
So I'm not suggesting killing it. What we talked about last night is that my understanding is that there have been a number of events, specifically in Canada, that were all centered in the Ontario area, and getting out of that area is hard. And going to other outlying areas where perhaps there are fewer members, and the number of people that it takes to do that is perhaps not as effective. For example, you take 5 people, 3 staff and 2 volunteers to do this kind of an event. Perhaps a smaller type event might be more appropriate, or not.
Well, we could look at a smaller one, but there's no problem moving out to less urban areas and more remote areas. We're doing that with the U.S., and we can do that.
I think the same thing could be said of the U.S. events, as in terms of, are they actually, is that the most effective way for us to reach out to people who haven't traditionally been engaged with ARIN? And is it producing long-term results as opposed to we got someone's contact information updated once?
Right. The question that comes up is, what's the purpose? So we do have a way of getting out to some of these people other ways, through other associations. We're actually working a little more now, instead of trying to get 40 people in a room just to talk about ARIN, if you've got 120 people talking about IT issues in a city, ARIN can get 1 or 2 people there and get the 10 who haven't heard about ARIN to pay attention. So we are doing a little more with, for example, doing things with wireless ISPs and fiber ISPs, but there has to be some gathering or association that we can leverage to speak at their event.
Yeah, the other one that just came to mind as you were speaking is that I know a number of other RIRs have a process that they like to have a personal meeting where it may be personal, maybe on the phone or in person with each of their members in a 2-year period. I think they call it registry check in one region.
To call up existing registrants?
Call up existing members and, is your information up to date? Go through a checklist of 5 or 6 questions
Right.
to, help you understand what the members are and what they need from Aaron now, rather than in a larger room, a more one-on-one approach. I mean, I don't know what the member count is today. I think it's around 4,000 or something.
5,700.
Yeah, so it's not something that you can do in one swath, but if you took it as a multi-year process to reach out to every member in some way and have a personal interaction with them, especially ones that aren't, coming to Aaron on a routine basis for, regular services.
We currently do that with the members. We don't do it with our customers. We have another 10,000 customers who are end users, but the members we actually reach every year because we call them up and say, it's election time.
Well, I think more than just voting, though. It's is your all of your contact information up to date? Are you where these are all your records?
Got it.
How is Aaron doing?
So you're thinking a general health check overall?
Yeah.
Understood.
I mean, that seems to have been successful in other regions, so perhaps something we should learn from our colleagues. There you go.
Kevin Bloomberg, The Wire. I think, John, because I was part of that discussion last night, a simpler way of saying it is, whenever a program is done for multiple years, it's definitely worth looking at ways of improving. And if the rate of return, the number of people, the smaller the towns, etc., maybe a smaller program or less volunteer involvement, there's lots of different ways. Not canceling it, but just dealing with the fact that it is now going to smaller towns than bigger cities.
Yeah, we have thought a little bit about that already because it has been so successful. We've expanded it, and by definition, it means we're going to smaller towns.
Right.
There's ways of tweaking the content so it requires less people to present the same amount of material. You don't bring presentations at 30 minutes for one person. You bring presentations that are more general that 8 members of the staff can cover. And so we have done a little bit of that, but you're right, we can do more. We can do more look at how to get further out there with Aaron on the road.
Or do less with more.
Do less with more. Okay.
The reason I wanted to come up here was not actually about that. It was about the question about reaching out via email. And I would like to thank Aaron's staff for being more restrained over the last 2 years since I last brought up the fact that I was getting inundated. I appreciate that. As a second improvement to that, I would love to see a digest or basically a leave me alone button. I would like to see monthly updates from Aaron, a one-time digest sort of monthly, and then I really don't need to know operationally when things are going on, or if the office is closed, or if this is going on or that is going on. Even less, I would like to be able to select because there are a couple thousand companies that reach out to me or want to reach out to me and all feel that they're the important company to reach out to me. And my view is any company that is sending me more than 12 emails a year without me asking or me caring is getting off. I'm unsubscribing from them. So I think, I'm very involved in Aaron. I do want to see them. At the same time, I look and go, but I don't want to see it from anybody else if I was not as engaged.
Okay,
So-
but you don't want a digest because getting a message monthly that says we were down, the office is closed, doesn't help when you get it.
Sorry, I
at
don't
the
mean a
end of the
digest
month.
in terms of notifications of that.
Okay.
I mean pooling up the really important updates. We've now opened this, we're now doing that.
Right.
As a newsletter once a month instead of as 6 different emails, things like that. And I think you've done a very good job going there towards that, but I would like to see more of that.
So just a follow-up. So
Yeah.
we began Aaron Bits as a quarterly update that's emailed. It's part of Aaron Announce, and it's on the blog.
Right, but
Are
I
you
have no
seeing
way of
that?
turning off the other things and only getting Aaron Bits. That's what I'm talking about. A selection in Aaron Online where I can say, I would like this, I'd like that, don't need that, don't need that.
Okay, so the question that comes up is, if you get Aaron Bits and you want to be able to select off, say, Aaron Announce, we have to make sure we have 100% coverage in Aaron Bits of what was in announced, so you don't miss anything.
And we're-
Not operational messages.
If I am
but
turning
other-
off directly things like Aaron announced,
Yeah,
I don't expect to have 100% in Aaron Bits. That's for staff to do. You're moderating, you're calling the shots. I'm saying that allow me to select the 12 areas of interest that I might have,
got it.
on or off.
So
Okay.
could I ask just one follow-up? So currently, Aaron Bits is distributed to people subscribed to Aaron Announce, and it's available on a blog. So would you want a subscription just to Aaron Bits if that was your choice?
That might be one of the choices. Like I said, check boxes of the things I'd like.
I was just going to make a suggestion, because maybe echoing that is that perhaps there needs to just be a stream for those that infrequently use Aaron services, just want to know the highlights from time to time, and those that are concerned when you have operational issues because they're constantly dealing and need to know phone system or power outages. I've heard that commonly from members.
I think we should brainstorm a bit on the categories of communication and how to select them, and figure out how to get Aaron Bits in there somehow as well.
Thank you.
Okay.
Owen DeLong, your company name here. I personally think Aaron's been doing a great job communicating. I wasn't part of last night's discussion of Aaron on the Road, but I have some experience with Aaron on the Road meetings, and I've seen them with varying levels of attendance and corresponding different levels of success. Interestingly, one of the least attended Aaron on the Road meetings I've been to was one in the second largest city in the most populated state of the Union, probably the most populated state in the Aaron region. So, you know, it's a mixed bag, and you never know what you're going to get sometimes. There were a lot more people registered for that event than attended it. But even the registration was kind of oddly small for the location, which surprised me because prior events in that same city had been pretty well attended. But overall, I actually think it's an excellent program. I think it does get very good results. We get a number of fellowship applicants from those events. We get a number of people who do become actively engaged in the Aaron process from those events. And it really is the only opportunity we get to get out and have FaceTime with people in some of the cities that are less likely to have Aaron meetings. So in that sense, I think it's a good program, and I think we should definitely not kill it or gut it for parts or whatever proposal may come by. I think we should keep it largely intact. Thank you.
Got it. Thank you. Any other feedback for Susan? This has been very helpful. No? Thank you,
you.
Susan.